Welcome to the Muskegon Channel. It's Andy O'Reilly called into the office once again with Christine Robere from United Way. It's not a bad office
You're
to
in
get
trouble.
called. I know. It happens. Wouldn't be the first time, you know. It is a great year here at the United Way. It's always great stuff with the United Way because, you know, I was thinking about this on the way down here. You and I have one of the most unique perspectives of Muskegon that I think anybody ever gets to see, and that's that we get to see both sides of the coin in Muskegon when it comes to need and needs being met. We get to see the people that really do need a help, and we get to meet the people that really are there on every front to make sure those needs get met. And I think we both share the same kind of optimistic viewpoint of Muskegon because we get to see both sides.
Oh, absolutely.
And, you know, I wish we could just take it and bottle it and sell it, what we get to see when it comes to Muskegon and things like that. But you've been at it a lot longer than I have. I mean, personally, you've been here how long at the United Way?
25 years yesterday.
Wow.
My anniversary with
Congratulations.
United Way. 15 years here in Muskegon.
How about that?
Yeah.
But the United Way itself is celebrating 100 years.
I know. And, you know, I've been excited about the 100 years, and then it occurred to me when I turned 25 years with United Way that I've been with United Way a quarter of that.
A quarter of that?
I'm a
lifer.
I'm a lifer, definitely a lifer. Yeah.
Tell me about the history of the United Way in Muskegon.
Well, it's pretty exciting. I would tell you, because of the 100th year, Andy, I've really started to, a while ago, about 4 years ago, we had a volunteer here who really went through all the minutes, went through all the microfiche at the Chronicle and pulled up, you know, and I thought, oh, good, this will make the work easy. So I started working on this book, but the book was this thick.
Sure.
So it was a lot of information.
There's a lot of history in 100 years.
Okay, so that we've got to edit that back and read through, but it's just amazing. I guess the key thing that people should know we consider our starting point 1918.
Okay.
There was a committee at the Chamber, the Citizens Committee of the Chamber of Commerce in Muskegon that was looking at creating some kind of a chest, and along came World War I, and Woodrow Wilson, the president at the time, you know, had sent people to war. We had families that needed to be taken care of. When they came back from war, we had veterans who needed to be taken care of, and we didn't have a tax base to depend upon. And so he really charged communities to help. And the Chamber of Commerce, through the Citizens Committee, set up the War Chest Board in 1918 in January, and that year they raised about $160,000.
In 1918?
In 1918.
What would that equate to today? Do you have any idea?
Bob Skolnick put the numbers together, and it would appear that what we were raising then is what we're raising now. So we've kept up with inflation.
Wow.
How's that?
That's good.
But it was a lot for people who were making $5 a week.
Yeah. In
some instances. You know, the first hired staff person at United Way was that year, Carl Young. Carl Young was actually a member of the labor community, and he was hired as assistant to Secretary Lumford of the Chest Board to do the campaigns in the workplace. And so I told we have a labor liaison here today. And I said, well, so it looks like the first paid person was an executive director. It was the labor staff to go do the campaigns at the workplace. And he did so much more. You know, Carl Young went on to be the first president of the AFL at the state level. So a great leader for his time, and really represents well what Muskegon was all about. An interesting thing that we learned that we didn't know, Eric Jepson, who's the plant manager and on our board for CWC, Textron, served as campaign chair.
Really?
A couple of years. And his great-grandfather, probably great-great-grandfather, served as the very first campaign chair.
Is that right?
Of the Peace Chest, so in 18 and 19 we were the War Chest. After the war ended, the committee kept together and began working on a Peace Chest, which became, our first name was Muskegon Community Chest.
Okay.
And so that first chair of that chest was the mayor of Muskegon, H.E. Langland. And so we hear of the Langland House around town, but Langland was the first campaign chair, and kicked off in October. They ran 1-week campaigns back then.
That's it.
They
1
got
week.
out.
And now it's 52 weeks a year for the most part.
Yes.
And I mean, you guys have your times of the year where you actually go out and push a little harder, but the work goes on 24/7, 365.
It really does. It really does. It's there's, because it's not really about raising money.
No.
It's about connecting people, just like you, to the needs of the community. And so, we like to bring people to visit the programs. We are at, agency meetings, learning more about the need, helping people connect and collaborate and better meet the needs of people. We're listening to people in need, and we're listening to people who want to help people in need. I think the great thing about United Way is I have an opportunity to be in touch with the pulse of the community.
Yeah.
And the pulse is strong because the hearts of our community are really strong, and the minds. People are really, how do we tackle some of these tough issues and the issues we're facing today?
That's my next question. What I mean, as a community, Muskegon, what are the top things we face today?
Well, what United Way's our focus now is on, the economy's a little bit stronger. There are jobs, so how do we get people into those jobs, and how do we get those that are in jobs that are not paying a living wage? How do we help them with training? How do we help them move up?
Yeah.
So what are the things that we can do together with our business and our labor sector and our education sector to help really improve the results? So we're working on, you've heard the term before, ALICE.
Yep, very familiar with ALICE.
Those who are asset limited, income constrained, employed. So they're working, and I think that's the misnomer. People think there's a lot of people not working. There are a lot of people working, they're just not getting ahead.
They're the working poor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
right.
so
to take away the acronym and kind of put it bluntly, the working poor.
Right, and they need a little bit more encouragement, more support to get ahead.
Yeah.
And so we're really focused on that. Certainly, we've expanded program dollars funding to Read Muskegon. We're really focused on workforce stability training.
Sure.
Really helping our employers, our workers, better understand each other. And so that we can have better retention of them in the workplace, because they're needed in the workplace. Just looking at some of the top needs are transportation. If you're living at that precipice of disaster, sometimes you don't have any savings set aside, and so you find out your brakes fail. That's a pretty big chunk of change. And so there's different issues that happen in people's lives, and if you don't have savings or an ability to pay for that, or you got that first job, but you need a bus pass to get there until you get the first paycheck. So we've invested some funds with a couple of our agencies, and that's what they're doing with them, is helping meet the needs, the transportation needs. Yeah. We're working with the chamber. The chamber's been working with a lot of the companies and with the county to try to expand some bus lines. How do we do that? Again, you have to have money to create bus systems.
Always comes back to money,
and you have to have demand. And
Yeah.
so some of these issues are, issues that we've probably faced for a lot of years. But these are ones that, when the economy is stronger, the most important thing we can do is get people to the jobs.
Sure.
And then they'll have a paycheck. And the demand is good. If the demand is good, then the wages will go up.
Yep.
If you're a good employee, you're able to get to work, then you'll be able to earn more income. And that all the way around fuels a better economy locally.
Better life for everybody.
Better life for everybody.
Yeah.
You got to be able to, I think that middle, being able to earn a middle class wage, and to have enough to put into savings for retirement so that you can retire one day. I think that, to me, is the basics of.
And that's really all anybody wants. Yeah.
Right?
You can even go back historically. I mean, look at Henry Ford. Mm-hmm. He decided at one point that if we pay the people enough to afford what they're building, everybody's going to come out a little bit better ahead.
Yeah.
And he was right. I mean, he made himself a billionaire in the 20s. Mm-hmm. Think what kind of money that would be today. Yeah. If people were to apply that basic principle of giving people enough to get by on, to afford what they do, and have a little leisure time for themselves. It's a pretty simple Pretty simple mindset.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to guess that there's going to be a party.
We are celebrating 100 years.
100 years, you got to have a party, right?
So, we've been looking back on this history, and so we knew a year ago that we wanted to do something big.
Yep.
And so we invited sponsors to help us create a big birthday party.
Let's do it.
So on May 10th from 5 to 8, if you're anywhere near Muskegon's downtown, please get there and come and join us and help us celebrate 100 years of uniting to inspire change and build a thriving community. We are going to have red carpet.
Okay.
We're going to have history boards that have stuff that we've pulled out of, believe it or not, we got a lot. We've kept everything.
Sure.
Almost everything. The 30s are a little bit, and I think there was a recession going on.
Right.
So I'm not going to bug the people that they didn't keep the best of notes.
Right.
But the 20s, we've got quite a bit in the 20s and ever since then. So good pictures, and so we've got some history boards. We're going to have people dressed as some of the people from our history.
Very cool.
C.C. Bradbury, who was the first female board member.
Wow.
Back in 35, and C.J. Reese, who was the first female campaign chair back in the 50s, and Mrs. Hastings, the first executive secretary. So I think that was kind of like my role.
Yeah.
Was there? She did that for over 20 years in
Wow.
the early years. So she's the longest serving person helping United Way. But again, the men, I can't neglect the men.
Sure.
So there was Archibald Haddon. Reverend Haddon was the first chair of the Peace Chest, and he was someone who was brought here by Mr. Hackley.
Okay.
And when Mr. Hackley passed, he put Archibald Haddon in charge of all of his affairs. And he represented the Hackley Fund and
Sure.
the hospital, and so he was a key leader in our community in the early years, and so they sought him to be the chair of the first Peace Chest.
Going on to Frauenthal.
Going on at Frauenthal.
Yep.
So 5 to 8, Frauenthal Center. What's going to happen on the stage? We've got a little video history of our community and throughout the 100 years, kind of a representative of our history. And we've got some acts on stage that our entertainment committee is working on. So a silent auction in the front.
Of course.
And in a fun one. There's the ladies are working up all kinds of games associated with that section. So we've got food. We've got desserts. Everything not on our diet is going to be there.
You have to bring up the diet. Thanks.
So and so it's really going to be more of a walking around, mingling, and then just a brief entertainment section towards the end. But an opportunity to really touch base. All those who really truly care about the community and the human condition. United Way's focus is the human condition.
Sure.
And we've got to keep working together to improve it.
I love the historical aspect. Mm-hmm. And I think that, to me, that's the hook. If you got kids and you want to know a little bit more about their hometown, bring them down. Teach them a little bit of something about Muskegon. I mean, how much of that's even getting taught in the schools? Yeah. Our local history. What a great night for that, to bring your kids down and give them a little background on who we are and where we're from.
And there will be alcoholic beverages.
Well, I mean, but
so,
that's where isn't there at this point? You can't go to the bowling alley without that. So it's what date again?
It is May 10th, Thursday.
Okay. Free event?
Couple ones. Free event.
Wow.
Yep.
Can't get better than that. Free.
Yeah.
100 years.
Yep. So
what's the next 100 years going to bring?
The next, more prosperity.
Yeah?
More prosperity.
You think so? I hope so.
The one thing about looking through the history is there were good times.
Yeah. And
there were challenging times, but the one thing that was constant is that this community rallied around each other and got through it.
And it never ends. Mm-hmm. That's what we're doing now.
Yep.
100 years the United Way. It's going to be going on at the Frauenthal. All the details are going to be right here. Christine, you do great work. Thank you for taking a few minutes to talk about what's going on.
Yep.
Thank you for being a sponsor of what we do. We certainly appreciate that. And it's a pleasure to do anything with you guys here at the United Way. I always love covering your stories. And
Thank you.
I love the work you guys do.
Thank you. And you'll put our website up so they can find us.
Of course.
They can register.
We do all that. We're full service. We
do want people to register so we know how much food to have.
Right.
We don't want to have more people than food.
Everybody's running over to Raggets for hamburgers at the last minute.
And it is hors d'oeuvres, so it's not a sit-down dinner.
No.
It is a walk-around dinner. But you're gonna be amazed. You
Great
see
time.
the times in the history, and especially if you or a member of your family been connected to United Way over the years.
Important to be there.
Yeah, I think some of the people who are really close to us now didn't realize that some of their relatives were as connected as
Sure.
they were. So we're doing the best to pull out as much history and still keep it fun.
Can't ask for more.
Yeah, there's a whole group that's working on making it fun, and then there's a few of us that want to put the history in. So there might be an imbalance on fun.
You got this.
Yeah.
It's good. 100 years of the United Way. All the details are right here. Christine, thanks again.
Thank you.